Okay, I've asked everybody to estimate the points of intersection. We've got one estimate, and that would be, I hope it's not for this point over here. Okay? Yeah, this one right here. Because that wouldn't be anywhere close to 2.2, 2.5, and I think Jen is a better estimator than that. Okay? So I'm assuming she meant this point. You did, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this point here. So I'll go with 2.2. I think it's a little more than 2.5. That's because I drew it high. Okay? So 2.5 might be just perfectly okay. It's as good as, you know, I can't refute it. Okay? Even though I might pretend to, I can't. So, what's the other point? Somebody else?
You got
I don't know because it stops being.
Well, let's go to that point and draw a couple of projection lines, because that's what you're normally going to do, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to eyeball it. You're at an angle and everything. Actually, it's pretty close.
to 5.
Well, it's here.
It's like 5.96.
So, now, if you think my projection is a little too far to the left or right, you can adjust your estimate accordingly. And here's my other projection, right? So now, with those projections adjusted according to whether you think they're horizontal and vertical, what do you think the coordinates are? Somebody tell me what the x-coordinate is.
About 6.1.
Okay, actually it's 5.1 because that's the projection of this point. 1, 2, 4, 5. So we'll go with 5.1, right?
Yeah, I was on.
Okay, point of intersection. You can't read that, but you know what it is. Okay, so we're going to say 5.1, and somebody tell me what you think the y-coordinate is.
6.3.
6.3.
Yeah.
Okay. Good estimates. Okay, let's see if they match these functions. Okay? Now, first of all, we're going to vote.
Oh, no.
This function or this function.
Wait, what was the first option?
Okay? We're going to take a vote. We're going to use this function or this function. How many want to use this one?
I want to. Probably wrong.
Okay, there's 3 votes for this one. How many vote for this one?
I want the first one.
There's
Okay, well, that's another vote for the first one. And since some of you didn't vote, and you know, you really got to get over that habit
Yeah, you do.
of not voting. But,
Yeah, you gotta
Everyone
vote.
needs to vote.
okay.
Keep it.
Did you vote, Miles?
I can't read the board.
Yeah, well, you didn't hold up your hand. I can't hear anything. Okay. But, okay, we're going to use this one.
Okay.
Okay? Because I think that's the one you said you voted for anyway.
Let's go with that.
But that makes it 5-2, so even if the rest of you voted the other way, I think this is a win. I don't know why you'd use this one. You got a simple number like 1 here.
That's
Okay.
what I was saying.
I don't care what you say.
It's going to be complicated anyway. It's not going to make any
I don't
difference.
care what you say.
Okay,
I know, no
so
one does.
Please like to see the numbers.
your equations are
Wait.
y equals 9.1x plus 1.36. Boy, that 9 is sick. Okay? Right?
Consider it.
And now, which equation we're going to use here? This one or this one? We're going to vote. How many vote for the grade equation?
Okay.
1. Any others?
I
Yeah, just once, Miles. I'm sorry. You deserve 2, but it's against the rules. Okay.
Let's go with the 5.
Okay, so how many vote for the orange equation? Okay, that's what we're going to use. Okay?
Why?
Candace, you should have voted for
I
that.
wasn't paying attention. I was talking.
Well, that's a, yeah.
I'm sorry. I got
I'm sorry, you're
excited.
doing great in the course, but you weren't paying attention then,
sorry.
so, you know, you just have to suffer a little. Okay, so y equals 1.7 times x minus 3.2 squared plus 1.7. Right?
I would have voted with the green, yeah.
Okay. Now, how are you going to find the point of intersection?
Combine.
There are
Where are we at
a
right
couple of ways you could do it. If this is y, then we can substitute this expression for y, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's easy, let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do it in blue because our points of intersection are in blue, and I probably ought to put a little line, an arrow up to here. Okay, because the figure's getting complicated. Okay, so,
9.1 x plus 1.3
Does that say-
x equals.
Is that supposed to be 0.9?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's not 9.1, it's 0.9.
at the point of intersection, x and y coordinates
Hey, Mr. Smith? Hey, Mr. Smith?
both match, right?
Hey, Mr. Smith? Hey, Mr. Smith? I think it's supposed to be
Can't hear you.
0.91, not 1 point, not 9.1.
Can't hear you.
So plug
He is
y
not.
equals 9.1, x plus 1.36.
Isn't that supposed to be
Hey,
0.91,
it's
not
supposed to
9?
be 0.91, not 9.
Yeah, you're right, I started to write it right here.
Why?
Wrong here,
Is it
and I
because
believe
Is
myself.
it because I have a high-pitched voice?
No.
Is that it?
She's been trying to say that for like 5 minutes
Hey,
now.
Mr. Smith?
There are plenty of heavy objects there, you can always throw one in the head and get my attention. You can draw a picture of that. Okay? Okay, so,
Yeah, they wore the shit out of it last night.
Is it because I have a high-pitched voice?
so we plug this into this and solve for x, right? Well, what do we get if we plug this in for y? We get 0.91x plus 1.36 equals 1.7 times x minus 3.2 squared plus 1.7. Okay? Now, what kind of an equation?
Is it quadratic? It looks quadratic.
They wore the shit out of it.
I think we need to use the quadratic formula.
Okay, we have somebody over here raving about their opinion that it's quadratic.
Is it?
You weren't raving.
I don't know, I'm asking.
Oh, you might have been. It didn't really sound like it. Said you were trying to, get somebody to acknowledge your
I
opinion.
exist.
Okay? So, I acknowledge your opinion.
Thank you.
What do the rest of you think? Oh, you
I
agree. Okay, how many of you think this is a quadratic equation?
That means
We're asking for
Candace.
votes now. How many think
Oh, we're asking for
that
votes.
this is a
Me.
quadratic equation here?
Where?
This blue thing,
Yes.
okay?
I'm
it
with
is.
Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how many of you think it's a quadratic equation because you know what a quadratic equation is and you can recognize one? Okay, that's good, because everybody should be able to do that, right?
No, I'm just.
But I'm seeing people still trying to solve quadratic equations with getting all their x's on one side, even though some of the
Can't
x's
do
are
that.
squared
That's
and
You
some
gotta
aren't.
use-
So,
you gotta use the formula.
That's nice.
remember that you have to solve it using the quadratic formula, or if you're very lucky, factoring, or something else.
Why you ain't never show us factoring yet?
Okay, it's quadratic.
I want to see.
Yeah,
him
that's
factor it.
right.
He never factored it. Never
So we have a
once.
quadratic equation, or dadratic equation. Dadgummit. Okay,
I would rather factor it for real.
so let's solve that equation.
Okay.
That's easy, because it's just quadratic formula. We've got to do a little work to get it into general form, so that we can apply the quadratic formula, right? But we've got 0.91, not 9.1.
Oh, what
Why are you
is
trying to
that?
make that number so big?
You took statistics yet?
I'm taking it this summer.
So what's the first thing we've got to do if we want to solve this equation? Okay, now you notice that in the context of this problem, we're reviewing a lot of stuff,
We
right?
need to distribute.
Distributed form. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yes.
That's the word I was looking for.
And, and we're going to expand this using the distributive law, okay?
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to write out the details because I know you know how to do that. We're going to get x squared minus
Like $6,000.
6.4x plus 3 plus 0.2 squared by the distributive law is 9 plus 0.4 times 3, which is 1.2, plus 0.04, which is 10.24. If I did that right, and if I didn't, you can always fix it for me. Okay?
Okay.
So we have 0.91x plus 1.36 equals this mess. Okay, what are we going to do next?
Distribute the 1.7.
Multiply through by that 1.7. Now, 1.7 times 6 is 11.2. 1.7 times 4 is 0.68.
I can't do it that fast in my head. I can do it in my head, but I can't do it that fast.
That's pretty close to 12. So I'm going to fudge a little bit because I don't want to spend all day
I can just do
doing
it.
the algebra right. You got like 11.98, I think.
Times the
That's
6.4.
11.88, isn't it?
Times the 6.4, it's 10.88.
Yeah, I always do something wrong. Got the 0.88, you know, things go wrong. Things go haywire. Okay, 1.7x squared minus 11x plus 1.7 times 10, of course, is 17, and a quarter of 1.7 is about 4, so I'm going to say it's about 17.6.
What's 17.4?
Huh?
It's 17.4.
17.4. You need to get that thing repaired. Okay, 17.4 if you wish. We add 1.7, okay, which gives us 19.1. And I don't want to get hung up in the arithmetic. I'm trying to do it at least.
Okay.
So we have 0.91x plus 1.36, right?
Yes.
Then I'm going to subtract 1.36 from both sides. It's going to give me, okay, I'm going to say 17.7. And subtract 0.91 from 11, and there I get my negative 12x approximately. It's actually negative 11.8 or something. And then I've got my 1.7x squared, and I think that might be equivalent to the original equation. And now I can plug into the quadratic formula. Now, my arithmetic is approximate. There are little errors here, but they're small enough that they're probably not going to affect the comparison with these estimates, because the graph wasn't that great in the first place. Okay? And the estimates weren't. But I'm running out of time on this one, so we'll solve the quadratic in a second.